So welcome to our wonderful book Goals by Brian Tracy, chapter number 8, which is at the beginning. So Earl Nightingale said, your problem is to bridge the gap between where you are now and the goals you intend to reach. Isn't that so beautiful and absolutely true? Imagine that you were going to take a long trip across the country. The first thing you would do would be to choose your destination and then get a roadmap to determine the very best to get there. Each day before you started out, you would locate yourself on a map relative to where you are and where you plan to go in the hours ahead. Life is very much the same. Once you decided upon your values, your vision, your mission, your purpose and goals, the next step is for you to analyze your starting point. Exactly where are you today and how are you doing in each of the important areas of your life, especially as it relates to your goals. Practice the reality principle. Jack Welch, CEO of General Electric for many years, once said that the most important quality of leadership is a reality principle. He defined that as the ability to see the world as it really is, not as you wish it were. He would begin every meeting to discuss a goal or a problem with the question, what's the reality? Because reality also differs. Something we have projected, something which is not true, is what we think it is true. So Peter Drucker refers to this quality as intellectual honesty, dealing with the facts exactly as they are before attempting to solve a problem or make a decision. Abraham Maslow once wrote that the first quality of the self-actualizing person was the ability to be completely honest and objective in himself or herself. It is the same with you. If you want to be the best you can be and to achieve what is truly possible for you, you must be brutally honest with yourself and your point of departure. You must be today in each area. Start at the beginning. For example, if you decided to lose weight, the very first thing you would do to lose weight is to weigh yourself to determine how much you weigh today. From then on, you continually use that weight as your measure for whether or not you are making. I'm so sorry, my connection faded, but I'm glad you're here. So we'll continue from where we left. So we were reading the section on page number 100, which says start at the beginning. So we talked about that, about the weight loss. So if you decide to begin a personal exercise program, the first thing you do is to determine how much exercising today, how many minutes per day and per week are you exercising, how intensely each time, what kind of exercises are you doing. Whatever your answer, it is important that you be as accurate as you possibly can. You then use this answer as starting point and make your exercise plans for the future based on it. Determine your hourly rate. And this is something which is very, 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 very important. So one of my business coaches, Rahul Jain, taught us ROTI, R-O-T-I, return of time investment. So what are we getting out of what we have invested? So what's our hourly rate? If you want to earn more money, the first thing you need to do is sit down and determine exactly how much you're earning right now. How much did you earn last year and the year before? How much will you earn this year? How much are you earning each month? The best measure of all is for you to determine how much you're earning each hour right now. You can determine your hourly rate by dividing your annual income by 2000, the approximate number of hours that you work each year. Even better, you can divide your monthly income by 172, the number of hours you work and average each month. Many of my coaching clients calculate the hourly rate each week and compare it against previous weeks and set a goal to increase the value of what they do each hour so as to increase the amount they earn each hour on a go-forward basis. You should do the same. Tight time of financial measures improves performance. Why? Let's understand the science. The tighter and more accurate your calculations regarding your income or any other area, the better and faster you can improve in each one of them. For example, the average person thinks in terms of monthly and annual salary. This is hard to analyze and increase. Conversely, the high performer thinks in terms of hourly rate, which is amenable to improvements on a minute-to-minute basis. Since you're the president of your own personal services corporation, you should view yourself as being on your own payroll. Imagine you're paying yourself by the hour. Be just as demanding on yourself as you would be on someone else who was working for you. Refuse to do anything that doesn't pay your desired hourly rate. A very important thing to see about ourselves is our current net worth. A lot of people do not do that. Be it men or women, they do not see the current net worth. So if you have set a long-term financial goal, the next step is for you to determine exactly how much you're worth today in financial terms. If your goal is to become a millionaire in the years ahead, you must calculate exactly how much you have calculated as of today's date. Most people are confused or dishonest about this calculation. Your true dollar net worth is the amount that you would have left over if you sold everything you own today at what the market would pay and then paid off all your bills prior to leaving the country. Many people place a high value on their personal possessions. They think that their clothes, their cars, their furniture, the electronics are worth a lot of money. But the true value of these items is usually not more than 10 or 20% of what you paid and sometimes less. Why? Depreciation and so much more. Secondhand stuff doesn't have the same income. You bought a car 60 lakhs. When you go to sell it, depends on how many years ago, how much mileage it's run, so many more things attached. But how would you say your net worth is 60 lakhs? But then we're actually not being very honest. We are chapter number 8, Ritu, I think. Let me check. It's in front of you, page number 102. Yeah, chapter 8. Right. So now, developing our long-term financial plans. Everybody should have a long-term financial plans, whether you're still earning or not. Why? Let's understand. For accurate financial planning, calculate your net worth today and then draw a line from that point to your long-term financial goal. Divide the line by the number of years you intend to spend to achieve the financial goal. In this way, you will know exactly how much you have to save, invest, accumulate each year in order to become financially independent. Is your goal realistic based on where you are today and the time that you've allocated to get to where you want to go? If your goal is not realistic, force yourself to be completely honest and revise both your calculations and your projections. Practice zero-based thinking. Now, for this, let me just tell you one more thing about this long-term financial plans. It's very important to have a 5-year vision, a 10-year vision, and a life vision. What do you see? How many years you see yourself working? And are you genuinely retiring, or are you doing something that you're very passionate about in the years that you're growing older? Because once you retire completely, and there's not much to do, then the mind starts losing its own power. So we have to be very realistic there also. People talk about retirement in a very big way. But what do you do when you retire? Watch television, just play golf, just holiday, be on a retreat. There has to be some purpose even then. So think about it, what you're interested in, what are your passions? And if you start working on your passion from now when you're younger, it's so much better because then you're leading in the right direction. Your future plan, say 20, 30 years later, if it should be something to do with you're passionate about, start now. Make it your plan B or C so that when you start that plan, It's not starting in nascent stage, because right now you're young. However old you are, you're younger than what you will be in 20, 30 years. Whether you're 20 or whether you're 60 or whether you're 50 or 40, you're still younger than what you will be. So be a little practical, realistic, futuristic also. Now, practice zero-based thinking. What does this mean? When you begin to plan your long-term future, one of the most valuable exercises you can engage is called zero-based thinking. In zero-based thinking, you ask this question: knowing what I now know, is there anything that I'm doing today that I won't start up again today if I had to do it over, knowing what I know now? A very deep question. Let's elaborate on what it means. Today, I'm starting something with the knowledge that I have right now. Now, ऐसा कुछ भी है क्या जो मैं अभी इस पल कर रही हूँ या कर रहा हूँ, that I can't start again today if अगर मुझे वापस opportunity मिली होती, the knowledge that I have right now, उसके साथ क्या different होता या कैसे करता? That's a very defining question. Confusing, but defining is very, very clear also. So no matter who you are or what you're doing, there are certain things in your life that, knowing what you know now or what you now know, you wouldn't get into again today if you had to do them, if you had them to do over. It is difficult, if not impossible, for you to make progress in your life if you allow yourself to be held back by decisions you have made in the past. If there's something in your life that you won't get into again today, your next question is, how do I get out and how fast? Aapko pata hai, you're the wrong place, at the wrong time. So move out. Your gut says, this is not where I want to head. Move out. Again, how do I move out? Right? Without any baggage, right away I move out. Apply zero-based thinking to the people in your life, both business and personal. Is there any relationship in your life that, knowing what you now know, you won't get into? Is there any person that you have hired, assigned, or promoted that, knowing that you now know? So which part do you want me to elaborate, Kanika? Can you tell me? Do you want me to elaborate about the zero thinking? Can you tell me clearly? I'm happy to. Yes, all right. So in zero-based thinking, this is a thought that we have to develop ourselves. Suppose, I'm going to translate this a bit into Hindi and English, like an English language. Suppose today I am in a relationship or I'm doing something for what I'm doing. I've started something right now. अगर मुझे मौका मिलता है कि मैंने कुछ शुरू किया है, with my today's knowledge I've begun that. अगर if I get an opportunity कि मुझे ये चीज फिर करनी है और आज से शुरू करनी है, दोबारा से लाइक स्टार्ट करना है, विद द नॉलेज दैट आई हैव, मैं कितना क्या डिफरेंटली करूंगी या कैसे करूंगी? डिफिकल्ट है बट इम्पॉसिबल नहीं है. कई चीजें होती है ना, आपने कोई डिसीजन पास में लिया है, सही नहीं बैठा, एंड यू लाइक, मुझे मौका मिले तो आई स्टार्ट ऑल ओवर अगेन. सेम थिंग अप्लाई फॉर दिस कि मैंने जो आज शुरू किया है विद माय दिस नॉलेज बैंक. If I have to start doing this again, how would I do this? And अगर मैंने कोई रिलेशनशिप में या किसी सिचुएशन में मैं फंस गई हूँ या फंस गया हूँ, how do I get out of it? कि मुझे वापस मौका मिलता है कि इस सिचुएशन से निकलना है, तो मैं कैसे करूंगा with my today's knowledge? When we start thinking as a other perspective कि शुरू किया है, दोबारा शुरू करना है, but how? What's the difference? Then we start evaluating, we start thinking. Because some things, our decisions are taken with just they're taken. But when you again put zero baggage attached to it, zero-based thinking attached to it, कि okay, वापस शुरू करना, like from the start, zero beginning, then how do I do it? Am I a little clear? Please let me know in the chat box so that I can move on, right? So what did you write? Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Now, is there any person that you have hired, assigned, or promoted that, knowing what you now know, you wouldn't hire back again today? Is there any person that you're working with, or for that, knowing what you now know, you won't get involved with again today? Be perfectly honest with yourself when you ask and answer these questions. Now, sometimes it's very important in life to understand that there are some people who drain your energy. I call them the energy vampires. You know, each time you meet them, there's only gila, shikwa, complaints, this, that, negative talking. They're like, oh, when I meet them, I feel very heavy. And they make me think about negatives and dark sides in my life. And they're not working for me. So then how do I get out of them? Simple. Start ignoring them next time. Make excuses. Do not meet them. Do not invest time. And gradually, when you start giving zero attention, zero attention, zero attention, over the time, relationship will die. Or people that you have hired and you're like, okay, this is not working for me. You give them a time frame. You tell them how to improve. If they're not improving, it's not working, then boss, this is your time. I'm sorry, we will not be able to employ you hereafter. We've got to be honest with ourselves because हमें ना बोलने में डर लगता है. So we have been taught time and again by Louis Hay in the spiritual books that I'm a yes person. But that doesn't mean that we say yes to all the negative baggage, to all the dark times. It's important to take a stand for ourselves, to have this zero level beginning that, I've always, and every moment, my dear friends, is an opportunity for us to start something new. Today, what we are sowing the seeds of something that we have decided to do with action. Tomorrow, that's going to grow into a little sapling, then a little tree, little plant, and later a big tree. So every moment is pregnant with possibility. How are you using it? Are you being productive or are you just whiling away time? The more honest we are, the more fruition our work will reach to, because then we are not only planning goals, we're giving deadlines, we're doing action plans. And when what's get measured gets done, accountability, very, very important. That's what we've been learning in this book. Now, evaluate each area of your life. Examine every aspect of your work, life, and career. Is there any job that you have taken on that, knowing what you now know, you won't get into? Is there any part of your business or work that, knowing what you now know, you won't start up again? Is there any activity, process, product, service, or expenditure in your business that, knowing what you now know, you wouldn't embark upon again today if you had to do it all over again? Very, very important to understand. Now, suppose if I'm running a business and I know that my expertise is in sales or my expertise is in designing, will I get into something that I'm not comfortable with for the sake of it? No, I'll hire the right person at the right time, because what I'm going to be spending my time and energy in something that it's not my innate energy, it's not my innate expertise. What's the point? We talked yesterday in this chapter about intelligences that we've all been blessed with. So if I don't have the intelligence or the acumen, what's the point of spending time? Being jack of all, master of none doesn't make much sense, but it's better than not doing anything in life. But it's better to be a master of one rather than being jack of all and not being recognized in that one field. So just master one thing, right? After people and work considerations, look at your investments. Is there any investment of time, money, or emotion that, knowing what you now know, you won't get into again today? If you had to do it all over again, if the answer is no, how do you get out and how fast? So similarly, there's some things you've made financial investments and it's not growing, it's not working, it's depleting. अभी 4 रुपए मिल रहे हैं, आपने डाला था, कल वो भी नहीं मिलेगा, तो what do you go about it? So there are different sciences that you have to apply. There's one science which people say people who invest for long always get paid back. So don't pull out if you've invested in something, be with it. But again, different sciences, but what are we doing? So we have to work on our investment, and investments doesn't mean financial investments only. Emotional investment is also there. Time investment is also there. If you're spending time with your child, that's the best investment you can make in his or her life, because time invested with the child is love, affection, so much more. So work on your investment. Be prepared to make necessary changes. If we have this attitude of always being a student in the school of life, in the school of earth, we are always growing, we're always evolving, we're always amending, adopting, adapting, improving, then in life, we will only become the better version of ourselves on a daily level. For this, we have to be very used to changes, because changes are only constant. So be prepared to make necessary changes. I have a great friend who was a golfer in high school and university. As a bachelor, he played golf several times a week. He organized his entire life around golf, even flying south in the winter to golf courses that had no snow on them. Over time, he started and built a business, got married and had children, but he was still locked into the idea of playing golf several times a week. Eventually, the enormous time commitment of playing golf began to affect his business, his married life, and his relationship with his children. When the stress became too great, he sat down and zero-based his activities. He realized that knowing what he now knew in his current situation, the golf would have to be cut back dramatically if he was going to achieve other things in his life that were now more important. By reducing his golfing time, he got his whole life back into balance in just a few weeks. How might this principle apply to you? What major time-consuming activities should you reduce or eliminate? So, we are all people in evolution. We are all people in progress. Yesterday, what worked for us may not work today. That is the reason accountability, answerability, gauging where we are, our actions, the results that we're getting is very, very important. And keep improving, keep improving. That improvisations make us better. Circumstances are continually changing. Fully 70% of the decisions that you make will turn out to be wrong in the fullness of time. When you made the decision or commitment, it was probably a good idea based on the circumstances of the moment. But now, the situation may have changed. It is time to zero base it based on the way things are today. There's a very beautiful, anecdote in this, or maybe like something which I'm just like a metaphor I'm using. We have been taught in our business management, in our money investment management, that if you have 10 rupees, you do not put all 10 rupees in one single investment. So you've heard of the English adage, right? That you don't put all your eggs in one basket, because if it's to break, all of them will break. You put them in 10 different baskets. Now be ready that 5 will be a complete waste. 5 rupees will become zero, completely zero. 3 will be some be equal. Aapko thoda thoda interest de rahe hain. Okay, great. 2 will be overperformers, and they will be so good that they'll overshadow the rest of the 8. So it's very important to be invested in multiple things, not just in one thing. Because what will do good, it's very important to see accordingly. That's why a lot of people talk about plan A, B, C. And like some people believe in mastering one, but some people say कि इसको master करो, but B, C के भी चलता है. So अगर 1% A doesn't work, we have B and C to fall back on. So situations change, and 70% they say that they turn out wrong. कि उस समय तो ठीक लगा था, आज it didn't work. You can usually tell if you're in zero-based thinking situation because of stress that it causes. Whenever you're involved in something that knowing that you now know you won't get into, you experience ongoing stress, aggravation, irritation, and anger. Sometimes people spend an enormous amount of time trying to make a business or personal relationship succeed. But if you zero-base this relationship, the correct solution is often to get out of the relationship altogether. The only real solution, the question is whether or not you have the courage to admit that you were wrong and take the necessary step to correct the situation. इसमें भी 2-3 चीजें हैं. A marriage is not working, for example. You know you've tried. It's not working. But you should know the karmic effect also. What marriage was given to you for you to learn a lesson. If you learn the lesson, the marriage will autocorrect itself. But if you leave the marriage, the next marriage will be on similar lines. Why? Because you haven't learned the lesson. So even the relationship, जिस situation से आप बाहर निकलते हो, उसमें कई बार वापस घुस जाते हो if you haven't learned the lesson. But if you have, the situation will be corrected on its own because you've learned the lesson. So what is holding us back? If you want to earn a certain amount of money, ask yourself, why am I not earning this amount already? What is holding me back? What is the major reason that I'm not already earning what I would want to earn? Again, I must be perfectly honest with myself. Look around myself and identify people who are earning the kind of money that I want to earn. What are they doing differently from me? What special skills and abilities have they developed that I haven't developed? What skills and abilities do I need to acquire if I want to earn the same kind of money that they're earning? If I'm not sure, I should go and ask them, find out. This is too important for guesswork or chance. That's why they also say, which we learned in this past book that we finished, about 5 people that you're closely associated with and in your working circle, you are the sum total of them, like somewhere in the, you will balance out to their basic average. That's why the business coaches say that walk in the company of giants. Have big dreams, big company. You'll get inspired and you'll grow bigger. But if you are the Raja between your friends, then be prepared to go on a little downward curve, because there's nothing inspirational, there's nothing motivational. I'm not saying that we start moving with who's who and become not a very deep person, but it's very important to be in touch with yourself. That's all right, Ritu. If you have to leave, that's absolutely okay. Determine your level of skills and ability. Do a skills inventory on yourself. First, identify the key result areas of your work. These are the tasks that you absolutely positively have to fulfill in an excellent fashion in order to do your job well. What are these? In every job, there are seldom more than 5 or 7 key result areas. They're critical tasks. You must be excellent at each one of them in order to do the whole job for what you're paid. You must be good at every one of these tasks if you want to earn the kind of money that you're capable of earning. Here's an important discovery. Your weakest key skill sets the height at which you can use all your other skills. Your weakest key result area, whatever it is, determines your income in your field. You can be absolutely excellent at whatever, everything else you can be absolutely excellent at everything except for one key skill. And that skill will hold you back every step of the way. In what area, at which skill are you the very best at what you do? What particular skill or combination of skills is responsible for your success in your career or till date? What is it that you do as well or better than anyone else? It's very important to understand this. Like even when we were in school, colleges, what do the teachers tell us? Board examinations में जो question 100% पता है, पहले उसको कर लो, score कर लो, time हो गया, confidence भी build up होता है. And you know you've parked your thing, you're a master there. Similarly, when we know of our strengths, we also should know of our weaknesses. Identify your weakest areas. Once you answer these questions and look at yourself in the mirror and ask, what are my weakest skill areas? Where are you below average or poor? What is it that you do poorly that interferes with your ability to use your other skills? What is it that you do poorly that other people do better than you? Especially, what key skills do you lack that are essential for your success? Whatever they are, you need to identify them accurately and honestly, and then make a plan to improve in each area. We will discuss this in a later chapter. Now, imagine starting over. Again, back to the zero-based thinking. When you embark on achievement of any great goal, you should imagine that at any time you could start your career all over again. Never allow yourself to feel locked up or trapped in a situation by a particular decision from the past. Keep focused on the future. पास्ट में जो लोग लैमेंट करते हैं, ग्रीव करते हैं, वो पास्ट में ही रहते हैं. So moving forward is the right way. Many people today are walking away from their educations, their businesses, their industries, and the years of experience and getting into something completely new and different. They're honest enough to recognize there's a limited future in the direction they're going. And they're determined to get into something where the future possibilities are far greater. You must do the same. So it's very important to let go. I can tell you with pleasure and confidence, 20 years I was in industry, acing it. It was my best of game. But at the end years, I was like, this is not me. It's no longer passionate. I'm no longer attracted to it. Even though I was earning a lot of money, I was like, I just need to move on. And I moved on with a drop of a hat, sold the business, moved on. Invested into another company, did that for 5 years. I realized it's money churning, but not giving me satisfaction. In fact, it's giving me depression. I moved on. Finding something, starting all over again doesn't matter. You have earned out of it. It's been great. But next what? Honesty is a very important virtue. We must develop that to ourselves. Be gutsy, be courageous. It doesn't matter if you start afresh. It really doesn't matter. A lot of people tell me, you were on the peak of your career. Why did you have to leave it? Today you would have been so recognized, this, that. Doesn't matter. If your work doesn't excite you, you're not passionate about it, move on. In doing a baseline assessment of yourself and your life, you must face the facts, whatever they are. As Harold Janine of ITT once said, facts don't lie. Seek out the real facts, not the obvious facts, apparent facts, the hoped or facts or the wished for facts. The true facts that what you need to make good decisions. Be prepared to reinvent yourself. A very important message. Take a hard look at your current company and industry. Take a hard look at your current job situation. Take a hard look at your markets relative to your competitors. In reinventing yourself, stand back and think about starting a career over again today, knowing what you now know. Imagine that your job in industry disappeared overnight. Imagine that you had to make brand new career choices. If you were starting over again with your special combination of talents and skills, what would you choose to do is different from what you're doing right now. Very important. What's your most valuable asset? Your most valuable financial asset is your earning ability. It is your ability to apply your talents and skills in the marketplace to earn money. In reality, you could lose your home, your car, your bank account, your furniture, and be left with nothing but the clothes on your back. But as long as your earning ability was intact, you could walk across the street, begin generating a good living almost immediately, because that's your skill, right? Your earning ability is extremely precious to you, and your earning ability can either be an appreciating asset or a depreciating asset. Your earning ability can grow in value if you continue to invest in it and develop it. It can decline in value if you begin to take it for granted and start to coast on the basis of what you have done in the past. So we have to keep reinventing ourselves. Okay, so I thought this chapter will be finishing, but let's read Bundle of Resources tomorrow because I've overshot our time by 6-7 minutes. All right, time for gratitude. So everybody bring your hands together beautifully. Two beautiful buds, left and right hand. And as we open every finger, imagine like a little bud of lotus is blossoming. Let's be grateful for the next 100 seconds. Take time and be grateful for 10 lovely things that have happened to us since the whole day began, right? Or since yesterday night, whatever works for you. So let's take some time. Once we start practice gratitude a lot, 10 blessings don't even take 100 seconds. Just on your fingertips, the buds keep opening. And when you open your eyes, you see this beautiful two lotuses that have now blossomed in your hands. A beautiful reminder that life does give us knocks and shocks, but it also gives us opportunity to learn, to grow, to evolve. We learn from the mistakes we have made, from the errors we have done. We are human beings. To be human is to err. To err is a human fact. So rather than hiding them behind covers and facades, wearing faces, it's nice to own up to your strengths. It's lovely to own up to your downfalls so that you can rise and shine. To learn back from where we were born. When we became a toddler, we tried to get up. We faltered, we fell down. Again, we tried to get up. Again, we fell down. Finally, we started crawl, and little by little, we started getting up and taking a little baby steps. And then we went in the world to run, to grow, to evolve. Similarly, no matter how many knocks and shocks of life we've got, could be physical, could be mental, could be emotional, could be etheric, could be spiritual, could be body of the knowns, unknowns, or unknowns, knowns, doesn't matter. Life always gives us opportunity to learn, to grow. So be grateful for all the downfalls as well. But be grateful for the lesson that you have learned. Because expanding the lesson and not the downfall. Let's always make an attitude of looking at the glass half full. It's easy to look at the ugly side, but the ugly is there because there's a beautiful side attached. We won't appreciate the light if we don't see the dark. In Nordic countries where there's full day in the whole day throughout, or this full night in the whole time throughout, one craves for the other part. We've been blessed with so much. Living in India, one of the most spiritual countries, having such a magnificent surrounding, perfect weather, such good family, such good virtues, such a nice head and shoulders, such a good house to live in, so much to be grateful for. Let's expand the gratitude in our life and make our heart so expansive, a heart that resonates with whatever we are beating up with. So much is happening. Let's always evolve and inculcate this habit to be so grateful. The gratitude is truly the biggest multiplier. With this beautiful note, let's be so grateful and bow our heads in gratitude to all the energies that were with us in our session, to Brian Tracy for teaching us so many concepts, for having goals in our life, to the masters, angels, guardians, spirit guides who came descended right now and who are around us, for holding our hand to make us part of this session before we call it a night. And bow to our higher self for choosing this beautiful life on Mother Earth in India with our families, for our soul to evolve and grow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. And I wish you all the very best and have a great sleep night. Sleep tight and have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow in the gap at 9 p.m. sharp. Thank you, thank you, thank you.